How's it going, everybody? This is Nathan at Kitten Equipment Company. We are Northern Kentucky's 5-paw premier coyote dealer, Cub Cadet elite dealer. The list goes on. And now, as of 2023, we are a dealer for Hustler commercial and residential zero turns and power equipment. Hustler is a company that is not super known in my area, but nationally, they're one of the larger zero turn brands. They've had zero turns. I think they developed the first stick zero turn, twin stick style back in like the 60s. They've been around for a long time, and they have a huge market in the commercial space. But in our area, something about the reps just not making it here. Some reps were too far north, some reps were too far south, and they just never developed a presence in this area. But we've got them as of this year. They were acquired by Stanley Black & Decker, and Stanley Black & Decker also has Cub Cadet, and now we have access to their equipment as a dealer for Cub. So this is really cool. This Hyperdrive that we're going to talk about is at its, I guess, on its face value, not that interesting, because if you look at every single zero turn manufacturer, they're going to make the biggest, best 60-inch regular stick zero turn that they can make, right? Everybody's going to do that. You're going to have a Skag and an X-Mark and a Toro and a Bad Boy and the list goes on. Everybody who makes a commercial zero turn is going to say, here is our best 60-inch stick zero turn. But as we start to get further and further into the zero turn space, and the commercial people will spend more and more on these, you really start to get some very interesting engineering and product development to make this better. These are a lot different than what they used to be. Even if on its face value, it's a regular 60-inch zero turn. This is the best 60-inch zero turn that Hustler has to offer, and I would argue one of the best, if not the best, in the industry, especially for the money. But it's really phenomenal, and we're going to go over a couple reasons why. This is going to compete against Exmark's Laser ZX, Cub Cadet's Pro Z900, their nicest, biggest commercial zero turn. Skag's Turf Tiger 2, I think, is their biggest model. The list goes on. So what makes this one so special? And honestly, its deck is shared among other models. This has the nicest deck they make. It's the VX4. It has a suspension seat. The thing that really makes the Hyperdrive special is its transmission, and we're going to talk about that first. The transmission on a zero turn is its most important component. If you think about a zero turn, everything they do really draws from the transmission. They go forward and back, and that transmission is constantly torquing forward, torquing back. The engine just has to start and run. The deck has to cut well and circulate the grass well and not break. But the transmission, that is the thing that is constantly getting worked. And so transmission is the most important component. If you want to ever compare a zero turn to its competitors, sometimes it's hard to do. We get phone calls all the time that say, hey, I want a zero turn with a 60-inch deck. I have 10 different models in the same product line that I can sell you with a 60-inch deck. But what makes them different is primarily that transmission. You're going to see that go up, that the model increase as you go up through the product line. So when you get to the best that they have to offer, what do you get out of a transmission? And this Hyperdrive has the craziest transmission I have ever seen in these zero turns. It is really phenomenal. It is a really almost like what you see in a skid steer. You've got at its core, let's open it up here and look at it, because this is really cool. So you open this thing up, and at its core, it's got pump wheel motor combos like you normally see. You have a really heavy main sump. This is like a 3-gallon sump that both of those motors pull from. And you have a hydraulic oil cooler that is tied to that. So between the fact that it has a really high amount of oil capacity and it has an oil cooler working to keep that oil cool, you get really nice cool oil. And if you have ever trashed one of these transmissions before, usually the thing that hurts them is heat. Over time, as they wear out, heat degrades them, and then the pumps go out and you have to rebuild them, and it's crazy expensive. If I ever tell people, you know, what can total a zero turn, the most common thing that'll completely need to be replaced and cost so much that it totals the zero turn is the transmission. And these guys have a crazy long lifespan transmission just because of that system. It keeps everything cool. It's got a big sump, extremely heavy duty components. I mean, look at these hydraulic lines. These look like something out of a skid steer. It's crazy to me. But the other benefit of having a really overbuilt transmission is the speed and power. It is crazy. It is I would encourage you to go find your local dealer and try to drive one of these. With this 60-inch deck, this thing, it's almost hard not to do wheelies. I'm not joking. It is crazy how much power this transmission has. It'll do 16 miles an hour, and it doesn't at all struggle to do it. The stat that they use on these, the statistic, there's a number that they say that this transmission, I can't remember it off the top of my head, it only asks for like 10% of what it's capable of. So it's really not working hard at all. And you can tell when you really send it forward, even if you just do it lightly, it'll bog the engine down a hair. And even this engine, this has a 38.5 horse Kawasaki EFI 1000cc. I mean, this thing is a hoss of an engine, and it will still bog that engine down a little bit, and then it just goes. The transmission's not working hard at all. It is effortless, it's really amazing when you feel it. And then your detail when you're driving with these sticks, you have so much control. They've got it dialed in so well. You just have to feel it to understand what I'm talking about, because I can talk for days and it won't do any justice to how good this thing feels to drive and how much power it has. So really overbuilt transmission system. And while we're down here, I want to go over some of the maintenance stuff. This is very commercial minded, right? So one of the most important things when you're dealing with a commercial zero turn is maintenance, how easy it is to do stuff. You do not want to be down whenever you've got 100 yards to mow this week. So they make things easy to get to. Things like fuses, you've got your two main fuses are right there. If you ever blow one, it's accessible. You can check it quickly. Transmission oil, you've got battery access right here. You've got transmission access on the back. You've got tie down points on all your corners. They've got all those built in. This has wheelie bars, by the way. You do need those. Tie down points on the front and on the back. So it's made to get on and off a trailer easily and to effectively be able to maintenance it and keep going. Very simple operator station. Throttle, PTO. You've got instant lights for oil pressure, or if there's an issue. It's very simple, easy to use, not complicated. You've got twin fuel tanks on this. It holds a capacity of 12 gallons total, and it will go a long time on that with your EFI engine. So simple, maintenanceable, usable. Let's talk about the deck. So the operator station's easy to get to. Your deck lift system is really cool. So as I'm sitting on here, you have, foot operated deck lift system, very simple. You have your height adjustments right here. And then there's a lock that is built in for transport. So you push it down, pull the lock up, and then you're down at your cut position. I think this one's set almost at 5 inches, it's pretty high. And then whenever you want to go to transport, to get it on a trailer, to drive somewhere else, you just push it all the way up and you're locked up. It's easy. So the deck lift system works great. It's all floating. The deck is super solid. The Hyperdrives are all equipped with the VX4 deck. And the VX4 deck is some of the craziest stuff. It seems so simple looking at it now. It's like, why don't they put this on all mower decks? But you're going to hear some similarities. I think everybody in the industry now has 7-gauge steel decks, 7-gauge reinforcement. You got a nice big running edge. It's all super reinforced. This thing's bulletproof. The stuff that they do that is really cool, I like how all of their anti-scalp wheels are integrated. They're built into the deck, so they're not sitting off on their own bracket that can get lopped off. I mean, how many times have you heard or welded your wheels back on? These aren't going anywhere. They are height adjustable, so every wheel is packed in nice and armored. On the top of the deck, these pulleys are really nice, heavy cast, big pulleys under here. I don't know if you can see them. Really heavy duty, sit up there. The belt system's really nice. Underneath is where this thing really shines. So the VX4, the big thing that it has that makes it unique than just the VX, on the front end, the baffles are adjustable. And I don't know if we're gonna be able to see that here under the front end, but you can actually adjust the baffle plate up and down. There's bolt holes, and it lets you adjust for airflow. So if you're in heavier grass or lighter grass or a different kind of grass, depending on the season, you can adjust the airflow to get that cut perfect. And it really does stripe miraculously well. It has a really nice aggressive stripe. And if you're in heavier grass, you can adjust that airflow higher or adjust it lower to make sure it's cutting perfect. And then the other thing, and I think we're gonna be able to see that, hopefully you can see that there. These spindles, big cast iron ductile spindles, have stump jumpers on them. And they don't call them stump jumpers. I think they call them like blade bolt protectors. But it's basically a little round dish that bolts on under the spindle. So if something hits the spindle, instead of it breaking the spindle or popping a bolt off on the top of the deck, you know, all the damage that can get done if you hit something going, especially as fast as this thing goes. The stump jumper basically rounded sit up on the bottom there where it just rolls over it. So it's a floating deck. If you hit something, it'll just roll over whatever you hit instead of knocking your spindle and hurting something. I mean, it's so simple. Why doesn't everybody do that? And this deck does. So between the deck, the operator's station, the simplicity, ease of use, and the absolute power that this thing has, between its crazy heavy duty transmissions with a great warranty, you should look that up. Really great engine options. You've got the best engine options in the industry. They have a Kawasaki 1000cc carbureted, an EFI like this one, or you have the Briggs Big Block 40 horsepower. That thing's insane. Those are all options you can get on here. And between all that stuff, I don't know who can beat that in the industry. I'd love to hear your opinion of that, but you should stop by and drive one of these, demo one of these, stop by your local dealer, see what they've got. If you're in the market for a full-size commercial zero turn, the best 60 or 72 inch that they have to offer, put this on your list. I mean, the warranty's great, the company's great, and that machine is so well engineered. So definitely worth your look. So if you have any questions from us, give us a call. Phone number is 859-356-9091. You can see all of our in-stock equipment at www.kentonequipment.com. And yeah, feel free to leave a comment, subscribe, and see more information on lawn equipment. Thanks.